What's up, everybody? It's Gomlet X. Welcome back to another ranked draft of Core Set 2020. Last time we managed to rank up from bronze to silver. Let's see if we can get up into gold today. So our first pack, we've got a Thunderkin Awakener. 2 mana for a 1/2 haste. Whenever it attacks, choose an elemental card in your graveyard with toughness less than its toughness. Return it to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Interesting card, a card I've literally never seen before. I may have seen it when the spoiler came out and just immediately forgot about it. Yeah, I'm not sure how good that is. Pretty interesting card. It seems like it would combo really well with, there's a Scampering Scorcher, something like that. 4 mana for a 1/1 elemental that comes with 2 more elementals. So obviously a fantastic combo with that card. Really good combo with the 3 mana 1/1 elemental that draws a card whenever an elemental comes into play as well. There's a lot of interesting stuff you could try to do with this, so I might try that out. It does seem very specific, though. We definitely have to get specific kinds of cards to combo with it. Otherwise, it's just a 2 mana 1/2 haste, which is not fantastic. But I think there are some interesting synergies you could try to do with that card. Here there's an Ancestral Blade. I like that card a lot. I like most of these equipment that come with a creature attached. So yeah, I mean, it's just straight value. Just treat it like a 2 mana 2/2 in your deck that gives you extra value later by basically just turning into equipment. Loyal Pegasus, not super high on. You have to be a very aggressive deck for that. Renowned Weaponsmith is a fine card. Definitely not exciting at all by itself. But if you get, if you get a Renowned Weaponsmith, you can pretty easily pick up 1 or 2 Heartpiercer Bows or Vials of Dragonfire and get a little bit of value out of this card. But still not insanely exciting. Battalion Foot Soldier's fine. And yeah, other than that, it's just a bunch of commons. I'm probably not taking a common over like an Ancestral Blade. But I do like Keldon Raider a lot. Keldon Raider might be my favorite common in this pack. It's a 4 mana 4/3, which is a decently sized creature. It's a little bit of a threat on its own, while also fixing your hand, getting you to your better cards by discarding whatever garbage you don't need, probably just like a 5th land, and drawing something else. So I'm just going to try out this Thunderkin Awakener. We're early enough in the format. I'm just going to go weird with it. And also, who cares about winning, man? Let's go weird with it anyway. Alright. Pack 2. We have 0 elementals in this pack. So, not the best first pick, but we'll see what we do have in here. There's a Brine, Borne, Cutthroat. This card definitely seems pretty nice. I like it a lot. 2 mana for a 2/1 flash. That already can just instant speed, do 2 damage to an attacking creature that your opponent controls. And if you keep it around and you draft enough instant speed cards, this card can just start getting a bunch of +1/+1 counters. So very neat card. Thought Distortion seems pretty awful. The most played kind of card in Limited by far are creature cards, and this does not exile creature cards. It only exiles non-land, non-creatures from your opponent's hand and graveyard, and it costs 6 mana. So if somehow you make it to 6 mana and they're holding on to like a 7 mana non-creature spell, it just seems very unlikely that this will even exile 1 card from their hand. And if it does exile 1 card from their hand, even that isn't very good because you've spent 6 mana to do it. Here we have a Veil of Summer, which is just a sideboard card specifically for against blue and black decks. Disenchant just for the sideboard, and then just like a mediocre creature with a Steadfast Sentry. And mediocre doesn't mean bad, just means, right in the middle. Blood Burglar, also mediocre, just some whatever filler type creatures. And we have a removal spell and an Agonizing Siphon and a Winged Words to draw a couple cards. So this is an interesting pack. I don't think there's anything in here that's just like clearly a really strong card. We could just take a Ripscale Predator and then we're passing a pack with 0 red cards in it. Maybe that'll get the bots to try not drafting red. If we want to just try to cut that and make sure we can get into red, but Then we're just taking Ripscale Predator second pick, which it's not that great. We do have like Rabid Bite just as a random removal spell, but I don't know if I'll be playing green. I kind of want to just take Borne Cutthroat again. I might be overvaluing this card, but I just like it a lot. I just think it's a really cool card. The pick might just be like an Agonizing Siphon, like just 3 damage. But I'm going to go ahead with the Cutthroat. Alright, pack 3. So here we have a Shock, which I'm probably going to take here. It combos well with Brine Cutthroat since it's an instant speed card, so we can put a +1/+1 counter onto it. And it is a red card and a fast, cheap removal spell, so pretty interested in that. There's also Chandra's Embercat, which does combo well with Thunderkin Awakener, just in that they're both elemental strategy cards. However, Thunderkin Awakener would not be able to return Embercat, because Embercat has 2 toughness, and Awakener can only return things with less toughness than it. So unless we played like an Infuriate or some kind of pump spell, we wouldn't be bringing back the Embercat. So it's not that exciting, but still, Elemental Tribal is a thing. Yeah, and nothing insanely strong that would be pulling us into any other colors in this pack. So I will go ahead and take the Shock. Alright. Here we have a Flame Sweep, which is a very strong card. 3 mana for an instant. Deal 2 damage to all creatures except creatures you control with flying. There's also an Overgrowth Elemental. Enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on another elemental you control, and whenever a creature you control dies, gain a life, and if it was an elemental, put a +1/+1 counter on this. Probably just gonna slam this down right now, since we are somewhat attempting to go elementals here. And this seems like a pretty powerful payoff if you get a decent amount of elementals. And the other cards aren't insanely exciting. Again, Keldon Raider is a creature I like quite a bit. There's a Rabid Bite if we wanted removal in green. Flame Sweep is pretty good. But I think I'm going to take the Elemental Boy and go for that. We are in pick 5. Have Wolf Rider's Saddle. It is one of the equipment that comes with a creature, so I automatically like it. 4 mana for a 2/2 wolf that comes with +1/+1 and can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. The equip cost is 3 on this, so it is quite a bit of an equip cost. So this isn't... I don't like this quite as much as just the 2 mana 2/2, just because that's so cheap, as well as just the 1 mana equip cost. But it still seems like good value to me. The red cards here are bad. We can do 3 to a creature with flying, or we can destroy a land. Tectonic Rift, the secondary ability on Tectonic Rift, can end games. Just make your opponent's creatures unable to block for a turn. So that is interesting. We do have a Rabid Bite to just pick up a removal spell right now. Just like bite something with our elemental. But since we are possibly going to be red-green here, I think just the fact that we'll be in red, we should be able to pick up hopefully a good amount of removal just with the red by itself. So I don't think we need to take a Rabid Bite this early. It might be better than the Wolf Rider's Saddle, but I'm still going to take the Wolf Rider's Saddle. I just really like these equipment personally. And I'm going to go ahead and throw the Brine Cutthroat into the sideboard for now. See if things change. We have a Loaming Shaman, just basically a 3 mana 3/2 with a tiny bit of upside. Little bit of ability there. Manifold Key can make creatures unblockable for 3 mana a turn. This pack just as a whole is not insanely exciting. I guess we can take like Ferocious Pup. Is Ferocious Pup better than Loaming Shaman? I don't know. There are things that can combo with the pup pretty well. Stuff that gets +1/+1 counters whenever you play a token. And stuff that returns creatures you control to their owner's hands. So, I don't know. These are both just okay, not fantastic. I don't know which one's actually better right now. I'm going to take the puppy. Because there are also cards that give all of your wolves +1/+1 and stuff like that. If we get really lucky, we could end up with something like that. Here we have a Thicket Crasher to give all our elementals trample, or a Netcaster Spider to go ahead and protect us from flying creatures. Both of these are definitely pretty fine cards for this deck. As much as I do like having that flying assurance, I think I'm going to try to stick to the elemental theme, try and make sure that our overgrowth elemental can get pretty beefy. Ooh, Scorched Spitter is an elemental lizard. It's not the kind of card I'd usually play, but we could try to do some like really aggressive elemental deck. This guy does have haste. That is one of the few elementals we'd be able to return with this, because it only has 1 toughness. We could try to go just real low to the ground if we wanted to, or we could just take another Thicket Crasher. I think the fact that I already have a Thicket Crasher makes me a little bit more interested in maybe trying out the Scorched Spitter game here. Probably not going to end super hot. The biggest problem with our last deck was definitely the fact that we were so low to the ground we didn't really have any late game power, and I am kind of drafting in a pretty similar manner again. But we'll see what we open in the packs to come, and I'll make sure to keep my eye on powerful late game cards, so I don't just go for some early rush type stuff. So both of these cards aren't insanely exciting. I guess I'd rather have a growth cycle. I mean, if we do put, like, an aura onto the Thunderkin Awakener, we can return more elementals. It's like if we put Maniacal Rage on this, then it has 4 toughness. We can start returning things with 3 or less toughness. We could bring back any of our elementals. That might be enough of a combo that we just try to play the not-so-great aura just to throw it on an Awakener. Yeah. Guess I am slightly more interested in auras than pump spells right now. Here we'll take the Vigilance guy. And probably not playing the Golem, but we'll take him anyway. Now we take Growth Cycle. Tectonic Rift is going to go into the sideboard for now. Loaming Shaman. I made the right choice. I took that Ferocious Pup earlier and then wheeled the Loaming Shaman. So now I just have both. Alright. So here we are with Pack 2. Shared Summons is our rare. 5 mana for an instant. Search your library for up to 2 creatures with different names. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. I don't know how strong that is. I mean, it's an instant. The fact that it's an instant makes it maybe okay. So, like, we could just turn 5, just pass with all of our mana up. If anything crazy happens, we could be, like, saving up mana for a growth cycle or a shock or something, and then if nothing happens, just shared summons at their end step and immediately cast one of the creatures we searched for. I don't know how good this is. We do just get the 2 best creatures in our deck when we cast it. But it's also 5 mana, so we are taking a turn off on turn 5, which is a pretty big turn. I'm going to go ahead and try it out. It's a rare. You don't always get to try out every rare. So I'd like to take the opportunity to do so while I can. This pack's pretty good. We have Reduced to Ashes and Leafkin Druid. Both of these seem pretty nice for our deck. Leafkin Druid is an elemental, and it helps us ramp. Reduced to Ashes is obviously just removal. Don't have a whole lot of removal right now. We currently just have Shock, I believe. We don't have a lot to ramp into. Right now we're just ramping into, like, Stone Golem and Shared Summons. Guess I could take the Reduced to Ashes for now. That's something that will definitely be good regardless of how our deck shapes up in the future. Here we have even more removal in this pack, which I'm pretty interested in. There's also another Wolf Rider's Saddle. So here we have Wolf Rider's Saddle, Reduced to Ashes, Chandra's Outrage, and Destructive Digger is also a card I think could be pretty nice. It's a 3 mana 3/2, so you could just play it out on curve for an early game attacker, and then if it's still around in the late game, then you get to start sacrificing your extra lands to draw cards. I think that card's pretty neat. You have Sedge Scorpion and another Ferocious Pup as well in here. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the instant speed removal. It's because it's nice to have some of that. Here we have an Overcome, which could potentially just end the game if we have gone wide enough in terms of our creatures. We do have one Ferocious Pup. That is one card that makes multiple creatures, and we are very heavily trying to pick up a Scampering Scorcher, the 3 1/1s in one card. So if we ever get that, that'll combo really well with Overcome as well. So yeah, I'm going to take Overcome, definitely hoping that we will see a Scampering Scorcher at any point in this draft. That would be fantastic. Alright, so we have 3 mana 3/3, which is definitely fine. We have an instant speed aura that we can throw onto the Awakener, or we just have a Chandra's Embercat for casting our later elementals. Like all those cards, they all seem fine. Feral Invocation wouldn't be super exciting if we didn't have something like Thunderkin Awakener, but since we do, I think all 3 of these cards are just totally fine picks. Right now, I'll go ahead and go with the Embercat here. The adorable little meow. Here we have Ferocious Pup, which combos very well with Overcome, or Lavakin Brawler, and we do have a decent amount of elementals right now. I think I'm going to have to go with the Lavakin Brawler. We also have a Rugged Highlands, which is kind of perfect since we are red and green. So this is a pack that we are definitely missing out on some cards that we would like in order to take this Lavakin Brawler, but I think we have enough elementals at this point that there's no real other option. And there it is, Scampering Scorcher. There is no other card in the set that I would take over this right now. That's not true, I would take Omnath, but still. This is exactly what I'm looking for. It combos insanely well with Thunderkin Awakener, combos very well with Overcome, combos super well with Lavakin Brawler. It's kind of just the perfect card for our deck right now. Also combos super well with Overgrowth Elemental. So, lots of good stuff we can do with Scampering Scorcher. Alright, looks like it's going to be another Lavakin Brawler here. Not much else we're missing on. We are missing out on just like a 2/1 that could get temporary flying. So Lavakin Brawler it shall be. Here we have Thicket Crasher or Active Treason. I think it's pretty unlikely I'll get any kind of cards that let me sacrifice my opponent's creatures, so if I'm taking Active Treason, it is just to be aggressive. It is just to steal one of their blockers and bash them with it, which is, you know, definitely viable in a decent amount of decks, especially like if we just drop down a Lavakin Brawler when we've got a few elementals out, and maybe they're in a situation where they only have one blocker, we could maybe just like take their one blocker and kill them immediately. There are some situations Active Treason could be pretty killer. Or there's just like a Thicket Crasher. I think Thicket Crasher with Lavakin Brawler is a pretty nice combo, because Lavakin Brawler is the kind of card that gets trump blocked pretty frequently. So I like both of these cards a lot. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Thicket Crasher, though. Active Treason usually goes insanely late, so hopefully we could, if we really want one, get one really late here. And the Ferocious Pup Wield, which is very nice. Now we've got another card that works quite well with Overcome. Another Maniacal Rage or another Growth Cycle. Growth Cycle is just really good if you get multiples, so since we do have a Growth Cycle, I'll start taking Growth Cycle over more copies of Maniacal Rage. As we proceed here, we have a Retributive Wand and a Greenwood Sentinel, so somebody took the land before these guys. I don't think I'm going to play either of these, so I might just take the uncommon. I guess I could possibly play the Sentinel, so I should take the Sentinel. Definitely not going to play the Wand, though. Alright, final pack, and we have a green rare, so that's kind of just the pick. Shifting Ceratops. It is a 4 mana 5/4 that for 1 green mana can get Reach, Trample, or Haste till end of turn. That's fantastic right there, and if we happen to be playing against blue, that's going to be a real feel-bad for our opponent. So I'm absolutely going to take this card. This card would be pretty bomby even if it didn't have protection from blue. And since it has that, if we happen to play against blue, our opponent's going to have a very bad day. Alright, so we have Healer of the Glade, which is an elemental, but it's also a pretty weak one, just a little 1/2 for the very early game. But at the same time, there's not a lot else in this pack. There's a Fire Elemental, which is a 5 mana elemental, so we can put it in here. There's also a Dagger Sail Aeronaut if we want a little bit of flying, but that's only flying during our turn, so it doesn't even block anything. There's really not a lot in green-red in this pack. I suppose I'll just take the fire elemental here. Alright, we have another shock, a rabid bite, a flame sweep, or the 6 mana 7/7 elemental. Lots of choices here. I don't think I want to take flame sweep at this point. We do have a lot of cards that will just die to a flame sweep. I don't think there'll be a lot of situations where flame sweep's going to be really good for us. But I guess it's possible. If we get later into the game and we just have like a couple Lavakin Brawlers out, or just stuff with more than 2 toughness and our opponent just has small stuff, could be a good card, but I don't know. I think Rabid Bite would just be more consistently powerful, or Shock as well. Probably want to take one of these two. I'm going to go with... What do I go with here? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Oh, there's also Infuriate, which is a nice little pump spell. Combos with Awakener, obviously. I'm going to go with Rabid Bite here. Alright, Voracious Hydra. I will take it. Just get past another green rare. There's also Overcome in this pack. We're definitely not going to wheel it, so we're only going to have that one copy of Overcome, unfortunately. But we will have a big old Hydra. 2 green and X mana for Hydra that comes with X +1/+1 counters on it. And when it enters the battlefield, we can either double the +1/+1 counters on it, or have it fight a creature that we don't control. So, very nice card. So for like 6 mana, we get a 4/5 that fights a creature when it enters the battlefield, or an 8/9. So, pretty nice card. Definitely the top end of our curve. We're just going to slap it right there. And we got a gigantic Elemental Boy. Requires a lot of green mana for that secondary ability, so it's probably not going to happen. So this is kind of just a 6 mana 5/5. But, like, if we're ever in a game where we get 5 green, that's just, like, lethal. Because that makes lands 5/5s permanently. So yeah, it's probably worth playing even if we don't have a gigantic amount of forests. Just because if we ever have this with the 5 green, I don't feel like there's anything you can really do if you don't kill it immediately. So we'll try out the Wake Root Elemental as well here. I think now that I've picked up multiple bomby late-game creatures, the Shared Summons could actually be really sweet. And Pulse of Marasa might be a card we're actually interested in here. Just return one of our bombs back to our hand and gain 6, get back into the game. Yeah, I could definitely be interested in something like that. I think that's what I'm going to take in this pack here. Now, nothing super exciting. Could take a Reckless Airstrike if we're scared about flyers. And we don't have a whole lot to deal with flyers. We just have our just straight up removal. We have Reduce to Ashes, Chandra's Outrage, Rabid Bite, and a Shock. That's probably an okay amount of removal, but I'm probably not playing any of these other cards. I mean, I could play another Vortex Claw, but that's just a lot of big stuff at that point. I think I'm pretty unlikely to play either of these, but I guess I'll go with Vortex Claw. Possibly once I start cutting cards from this deck, I do just want more gigantic late-game stuff. We'll definitely see how it goes. I'll go ahead and take a 3rd Growth Cycle, just because, why not? I've started taking Growth Cycles. It's kind of hard to stop taking them once you've started. Just because they just keep getting better the more you have. Another Vortex Claw here. Looks like we probably should have just taken that Reckless Airstrike, seeing as we just would have got another Vortex Claw later anyway. Goblin Smuggler I am actually going to put in the main deck for now. Just because it combos really well with Lavakin Brawler. You can give that unblockable before you pump up its power. And you could potentially be hitting them for at least 3 unblockable damage, and possibly more if you have more elementals out. Now we'll obviously just take the elemental, And the last card. So it is time to cut some cards here. First of all, before anything else, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the shock style. Oops. I like to try to keep things uniform. I'm having such a hard time. And this is why I misclick and just sacrifice all my lands. Alright, so Scorch Spitter, Shock, seems like a fine one-drop spot. Got a lot of cards in this deck right now. We have 52 cards. We have to cut 12 things. First of all, I'm going to scooch that Voracious Hydra right up into the high mana costs. I am not going to cast that for 2 mana. That would just come out as a 0/1. That does not seem great. I think I'll go ahead and take out the Maniacal Rages. And some of these Greenwood Sentinels, I guess just 1. Keep these 3 mana cards. Definitely take out Stone Golem at this point. Probably take out Fire Elemental as well. I still have to take out 7 more cards. I guess we just take out the growth cycles that we just drafted a million of. Maybe take out a Loaming Shaman. I guess I'll keep 1 Loaming Shaman in here just in case somehow the game goes super long and I can win in a mill type situation. I also have a combo here. Like, if the game could go infinitely long, since I do have 1 Loaming Shaman and 1 Pulsum Marasa, I could, like, play the Loaming Shaman, then when it dies later, Pulsum Marasa it back to my hand, and then play it again, shuffling Pulsum Marasa back into my deck. That's so cute, and definitely is not going to happen, so obviously we got to put that in the deck. Alright, 3 more cards, gotta get out of here. I am really at a loss here of what to cut. I like all of these cards a lot. Guess I'll take out 1 Thicket Crasher. 1 Greenwood Sentinel? Let's see what our stats are like currently. Oh no, that's still 41 cards. Average mana cost 3.3 seems pretty high. I don't actually know what the average you should have is. Probably like 2.7, I don't know. We still have to... Why do I have to take out 1 more card? That's so sad. I guess I could probably just take out a Scorch Spitter at this point. Pretty low impact. Especially when I now have just like multiple bombs, so I'm probably not actually trying to just speed demon away the game. Yeah, I mean, this build seems fine. Again, could probably make it better. And we will, first of all, just go ahead and make it as good as possible by choosing the good lands. So at least we did this. So, like, objectively, we've done the most important part of deck building here, which is making it pretty. It seems too civilized for this deck. There's a lot of elementals and hydras and beasts and stuff. I think we want just, like, some raggy stuff. Yeah, that looks like probably the one we want. Let's go with 8 of these. And let's choose just some untamed wilds. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go. We gotta make sure not to just slam the done button because we would have way too many lands in this deck if we did that, and I accidentally took out too many. Took out one of the mountains. Alright, bam. The deck is complete. Let's see how this turns out. I think that this deck looks a lot nicer than the last deck that we drafted. So I'm very excited to see if this will do anything in the games or if I'll die immediately. There's the Voracious Hydra on that stained glass in the background there. Hopefully that's a good blessing for us. Round 1. Fight. I will definitely keep this 7. It's pretty slow, but we have that shock if they have something scary in the early game, and it has a very powerful late game because we can shared summons to pick up our Hydra, plus whatever our second best creature is. Which is probably just like that dinosaur guy or something. Ooh, that thing has 2 toughness. That's actually perfect. I'm definitely going to shock that if they don't trade here. Which, yeah, it was pretty unlikely that they would take that trade. But I want to offer it anyway, just so I could possibly keep my shock. Cloudkin Seer. Opponent's going to draw a card here. As well as have a 2/1 flyer out there. Right, Ferocious Pup is the draw. Definitely a fine draw. It gives us something to do this turn instead of just playing a land. I'll attack with the Sentinel, see if they want to trade here. Doesn't really matter to me. I would prefer to just get rid of their flyer, I think. But either way is fine. Alright, 5 mana for our opponent now. Metropolis Sprite it is, along with Imperial Eagle to pump up the rest of their flyers. So, I could shared summons right now. I know that they're tapped out, so they won't be able to counter my shared summons. But at the same time, I am very interested in just reducing the Empyrean Eagle to ashes right now, just to keep more damage off of me here. Is if I shared summons right now, then I'm definitely taking 7 damage on the crackback, and I'm also not attacking them. If I reduce that Eagle to ashes, that lowers that sprite down. I can actually just counterattack with my guys here. I think I'm going to reduce that to ashes. And let's see how this goes. Griffin Sentinel from our opponents is a 1/3 flying vigilance. Pumping up the Metropolis Sprite. They really are just trying to race us in the air here. 2 white mana up for our opponent, so we know they don't have a counterspell this turn either. If I cast Overcome here, I'm not quite at lethal. They have 3 toughness. I'll have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 power. So I'll only do 7 damage off of an Overcome. It might be worth it just to cast Ferocious Pup, because that will make Overcome lethal next turn. If I cast Shared Summons, it's definitely going to be slower. But I could cast Shared Summons and then grab my Hydra, play the Hydra next turn, then I have a 4/5, have it immediately fight the Cloudkins here, I guess? I'm going to cast Ferocious Pup here. I think that with the way that they've been playing, the fact that they're just trying to outrace us in the air here, makes me feel like they probably won't leave a lot of blockers up next turn, which means if they don't have a counterspell, they will just die immediately next turn when I cast Overcome. So let's see. I think this is definitely the ballsier play, because we do just lose if they have a counterspell. I guess not immediately. We do only take 5 damage on the crackback. Let's see what's happening. 2 cards in hand for opponent. This will be lethal. Alright. We might have got there. We have 16 power against 3 toughness. This is 13 damage guaranteed. If they do not start removing some creatures. Playing a fog. So there we go. Overcome will win that game. Alright. I don't actually know if it was better / safer to just grab the Hydra and try to play it a little bit slower, just shoot one of their flyers and then have a big guy on the field. I guess the other point is, if I did cast the thing to grab 2 creatures, I could also grab that dinosaur that can get reach, and then I just have a blocker for their flyers as well. So that might be safer. Not sure. It did all work out for us in the end, though, so I'm happy with that. Alright. Next game, round 2, we have 2 Ferocious Pup, as well as 3 mana to play them, and an Overcome for the late game, so that is kind of the combo. Just cards that make multiple creatures at the price of 1 card, and then the card that puffs up all your creatures. Let's see if they will survive long enough to overcome. It's not looking like it, seeing as they just played a Death Toucher immediately. I'm just going to get that right out of the way right now, so I don't have to worry about that when I have like Lavakin Brawlers and stuff I actually care about in the future. Alright. We've got our 3 mana. We've got Ferocious Pup. We now have a 2/2 to trade with their 2/2 if they don't play a pump spell or something to save it. Looks like they might just kill it. They're just looking at it right now. Alright, this could be a pump spell. If so, that's fine. We at least get the pump spell out of the way to not worry about it in the future. Looks like we are just trading our 2/2 for their 2/2 Vigilance. Fine trade. And they cast a Healer of the Glade, 1/2, and gaining some life. So our Ferocious Pup definitely is not attacking, because it will just die, sad as it is. Alright, so we're just casting the Lavakin Brawler there, since it is the more expensive card. Just makes the most use out of our mana. And it's a 2/4 to have on the board instead of a 2/2. So this is pretty likely going to be a Blade Brand from our opponent to give that Death Touch and draw a card. So I feel like there's basically no reason not to take the 1 damage right there, because we do have 19 more life to play with here. The opponent did pick up their 2/2 and their Death Toucher. I'll probably Chandra's Outrage on the Death Toucher so that I can keep attacking with my Lavakin Brawler. And here we go, we're going to attack for 3 here. See what's going on. So yeah, opponent did Soul Salvage to return their Greenwood Sentinel and their Death Toucher back from the grave. To play again, probably this turn. Yep, here comes the Vampire of the Dire Moon. 1/1 Death Touch lifelink. We are just going to kill that with Outrage, and there is Greenwood Sentinel as well. Which the Sentinel can chill, I'm fine with him. Alright, so we will go ahead and Outrage that Vampire. See if they have a response here. They're going to have to give it a lot of toughness. Alright, looks like no response. So they do have the 2 mana up for the Blade Brand. So our Lavakin Brawler probably just going to die here. I don't think I can just sit here and do nothing, though, so I probably just have to swing in. I also have Overcome. I mean, I have 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That'd be 13 trample damage. We're nowhere near that being lethal right now. Let's just get in there. Here comes probably the Blade Brand to get rid of this Lavakin Brawler. We're probably just going to trade off boards here. But we'll see. I can definitely hope that they don't have Blade Brand. It's unlikely as it would be. Interesting block here. Okay, Growth Cycle. Alright. That is not the card that I thought they had. So they did get me there. Growth Cycle to kill the Lavakin Brawler. That is definitely not as bad as it would have been if they had Blade Brand, though, because then they would have been able to kill the Brawler, lose their 1-2, but draw a card is the important part. Alright, they're given that Greenwood Sentinel +2/+2, as well as getting a 2/2 Wolf with the Wolfkin Bond. And here we are taking 5. And draw a land. Really have much to do here. Overcome's not going to get there. We have to just pass. Are taking 4 damage a turn. Actually, we could just take 6 damage a turn if they just attack with everybody, like... Yeah. I guess we'll trade wolves. Take 5, go down to 9. Definitely have to draw something soon, but we have a lot of good draws. Thicket Crasher is a fine draw. Definitely trades with their 4/4. Slows down the clock a lot if they don't have some kind of removal spell. Unfortunately for us, they do. They do have the Murder. Alright, well, things are not great, but we do have some viable outs. It's not quite over. It's just probably over. So Mountain off the top. This is the last chance draw here. We basically have to draw one of our really good cards now. Now we have to draw into our Hydra or a removal spell to kill that Sentinel. And if we just draw a removal spell, we have to runner. We have to draw the removal spell and then proceed to draw a really good blocker for the other stuff. Unfortunately, drew absolutely nothing, just another mountain. So that will end the game. I'm actually going to turn emotes back on here. This is the greatest mistake I could ever make, but emotes are no longer disabled. I'm going to give them the GG, cast our Overcome, and cast the turn. That is quite lethal. Definitely some nice value was gained by our opponent this game. They were just able to draw more cards than us, thanks to cards like Soul Salvage, letting them play their Death Toucher and stuff like that again. So, on to next game. We are 2 rounds in, 1 win, 1 loss. Exact average, exactly how I strive to be in life. If I can hit that mediocre, middle of the road, average guy level of success, I'm good. That's what I strive for. I'm not quite there, but maybe someday. Alright. This hand is so sad. It looks awesome, but there's 2 lands. We have our awesome Dinosaur, we have our awesome Hydra. We just can't really play them. We have to pretty much draw nothing but lands for this hand to be good, and we can't really rely on that, so I am going to have to mulligan. This hand is very similar, but at least we have both of our colors, as well as at least a shock for the early game. So I'm going to keep this 6. I'm actually going to put Rabid Bite on the bottom, since we don't have any creatures to actually use that card for now, and I like both of our late game Bomby cards in case we do draw a lot of land. So I'm going to keep like that. That could be incorrect. We probably should have just put Wake Root Elemental on bottom. Because if we do draw any creature, Rabid Bite is probably going to be more viable. But we'll see. Definitely going to play the Mountain first, so that our shock is at the ready. And let's hope for the best here. Sorcerer of the Fang is going to start the game. 2 mana for a 1/3. Later in the game, it can start pinging us. And we get to cast our Thunderkin Awakener, which unfortunately does nothing. It's a 1/2 with haste versus their 1/3, so we cannot attack with it right now. They also have a 1/3 flyer. So I could potentially just attack with the Thunderkin Awakener just to try to kill their flying creature, Because if I attack with my 1/2, they will probably block with both of their 1/3s in order to kill it. So I could at least maybe get their bird killed with my Awakener, but I'm just gonna sit here for now. I kind of like the idea of leaving the Awakener just in case I just immediately draw a Stampeding Scorcher or something. It's pretty unlikely. Probably should have just sent in with the Thunderkin. At least get 1 damage to their face. At most, kill one of their random 1/3s. Unholy Indenture. This is a pretty big problem. So now when the Griffin Sentinel dies, it will come back with a +1/+1 counter. So they will definitely have that clock in the air, just slowly killing us, regardless of what we do here. I think I just want to save for that Hydra till later. What's really nice is I have now drawn 5 forests, so if I do make it to turn 6 here and the Wake Root Elemental survives, that is a massive threat, because I do have the mana to start spending 5 mana a turn and just converting my lands into 5/5s. So, Wake Root Elemental, definitely a very scary card coming up. I might even cast the Hydra this turn. Ooh, now I'm not going to cast the Hydra this turn. So they cast a Bone Splinters to sacrifice their Griffin Sentinel to destroy my 1/2. And since they had the Unholy Indenture, Griffin Sentinel comes back as a 2/4. So now I am definitely going to wait on that Hydra until it will come out as a 4-power creature that I can fight that Griffin Sentinel and deal 4 damage to it. Oh no! Right after they killed my guy, I drew the Scampering Scorcher to bring back with him. But that's okay. We'll just cast it anyway. Have our 1/1s. It's not really worth the random damage to their face. I'm just going to keep them here to start chump blocking that Sorcerer. So next turn we'll have 6 mana. I get to cast Voracious Hydra as a 4/5 and fight their Griffin Sentinel. And I am so glad I drew these 1/1s, because wow, they just cast a Gauntlets of Light, giving Sorcerer of the Fang +3 toughness? Or +2 toughness, and now it deals damage equal to its toughness. So it's an 8/8. They now have an 8/8 Sorcerer of the Fang. So that's absolutely horrifying. But for now, we can at least deal with the Flyer and have some chump blockers. Actually, I could just make Hydra an 8/9 and try to block their 8/8. I'm still just going to fight the Flyer. We're playing against Black-White. I feel like the odds of them having a Pacifism or a Murder or something like that are pretty high. So if we just play Hydra as an 8/9, then we just get no value out of it if they do have removal. As a 4/5, at the very least, we at least got to kill that Sentinel. Alright. So, I think now we try to Wake Root Elemental for the game. They didn't have removal just yet. Hopefully that means they don't have removal at all, and we can start making some 5/5 lands. Glaring Aegis. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's very bad. So now they get to tap down our 1/1, force us to block with the Wake Root Elemental, or just take 10 right now. Oh, that's so bad. That'll put us to 5 life. How much damage do we have on board right now? We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus 6, that'd be 16 damage, but they stop 6, so I could deal 10 to them on the crackback with Overcome. Which is not enough. Oh, man. I have to hope they just don't have a pump spell. Or any kind of way to deal extra damage here. Because Overcome will be lethal after I turn one of my lands into a 5/5. It's not lethal yet. But if I survive this turn, Overcome will be lethal. Alright. Turn one of my lands to a 5/5 haste. And untap it. Oh, this is scary. I need to be certain I can block that 8 damage. So I should leave 2 blockers, right? And they could have a Blade Brand, so maybe I attack with Hydra and Forest. That way I know Wake Root Elemental survives. But I guess it doesn't matter which ones survive if I can Overcome next turn. If I get 5 damage in now, they go to 11. I'll go like this. Attacking with the Hydra and the Forest. I'm very scared to what they could possibly have here. Blocking the Forest. They do have Blade Brand. Okay. Very glad that I did not attack with that Wake Root Elemental then. That was some good thinking. I'm going to go ahead and shock the Griffin Sentinel so that I don't take any damage in the air here. Now we really hope they don't have removal, because then they get to kill both our blockers here. Oh no! Oh boy, alright. Yarok's Fenlurker to make us exile the card in our hand, which is Overcome, which was a very important card. Now we don't even have 5 green anymore because they've killed our Forest with a Blade Brand. Oh no. God, yeah, and now they have the mana to untap that 8/8, as well as play that Fenlurker. This is a frightening position we're in right now. We did draw the Shared Summons, so we get to instant speed, see if we have any creatures in our deck that can save us from this. Right. No attacks. I am happy with that. I was scared they'd have something in their hand, but it looks like they don't have anything. Because if they did, they obviously would have attacked. Since they didn't have anything, they didn't want to attack, though, because I could double block and kill that Sorcerer of the Fang. So, let's see what are our best cards for this position right now. Probably our big Ceratops and our Elemental guy. Yeah. Maybe like a Ferocious Pup just to have multiple blockers. I'm gonna take Overgrowth Elemental and Shifting Ceratops, I guess. Goblin Smuggler is the draw, which is a fine draw. We don't have anything that'll be small enough to make unblockable with that. Okay. Alright, here's Ceratops. Here's Elemental. So now we just have a ton of blockers. And we just wait it out until we draw green, and then we can start turning all of our mountains into 5/5s. And eventually we'll have too many 5/5s. I think we stabilized. We are at 5, though. So if they draw like a manifold key or something like that, that could be very bad for us. So we did draw Pulse of Marasas. Pretty interesting draw. Oh, that can just return our forest. Yeah, that's actually the play. Just return our forest at the end of their turn. Alright, we'll play Goblin Smuggler first. Yeah, I think we're going to play Pulse of Marasa to return a forest to our hand so we have our 5th green. I mean, granted, we'll probably just draw a forest anyway, like right after that, so maybe we just keep this in our hand to replace a bomb if we lose one. If I attack with everything, they take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not quite lethal, so we're not going to go for it. But we're getting there very, very quickly now. It was quite a turn at the end. This game became real scary the second that Sorcerer of the Fang started dealing damage equal to its toughness. Unholy Indenture on the Yarok's Fenlurker. So if it dies, it comes back with a +1/+1 counter. So that will exile the card in our hand again. If it dies. I'm going to cast Pulse of Marasa. I want to make sure I draw the freaking green. I know it's real likely we just draw the forest anyway, but... yeah, see, we didn't draw the forest, so it was the right play. So we're going to turn a mountain into a 5/5. We're getting tremendously close now to lethal. So they block there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 plus 5 is 14 damage. Unless something crazy happens, this would be lethal, and they'd crack back for 10 if something crazy happens. So I'm just going to go for it. This could be the biggest mistake of my entire life. But... I mean, they'd have to have something pretty crazy to be able to survive this and do a lethal crackback next turn. Because even if they survive this, they'll be at a very low life total that it can probably just kill them again next turn instead. So they'd have to be able to survive this and also do 11 on the crackback, and it looks like they cannot, so that is -2 for our opponent. Alright, that was a pretty spooky game. We are up into Silver Tier 3. We were at 2 wins and 1 loss in this event. Yep. 2 wins, 1 loss. Let's just keep it going. See if we can keep winning. Get some more gems out of this. Get some more gold out of the daily wins. So that we can draft again sooner. Alright, this hand's pretty weird. It's very slow. We don't do anything till turn 4, but we do have multiple pretty strong cards for later in the game with this hand. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this. This hand can get pretty heavily punished by faster decks, like the last deck that we tried to draft. So I'm absolutely hoping that our opponent is on some kind of slower strategy as well. Our first draw is pretty nice at stopping something from killing us fast. It is a shock to kill whatever the first scary creature they play is. And we drew a 3-drop. Now we have a Loaming Shaman. So here comes a Diamond Knight. That is a 1/1 Vigilance, but it'll keep getting counters as they proceed through the game. So I'm just going to kill it while it's a 1/1. Just get the shock out of the way. Because I am going to be spending all of my mana every turn from now on for a while. Going to go ahead and shuffle the shock back into my deck. That's probably going to be a fine draw at any point. Here's a Risen Reef, and they've got the style for it. Very nice, very pretty. They're going to go ahead and draw a card off of that. I will send in my 3-2, and then I'm going to play my 5-4 Dinosaur. And they are playing blue. So, the protection from blue might come into play this game. Alright. Mountain from our opponent. They are on green, red, blue elementals, it looks like. We have only seen 2 cards from them. One of them is Risen Reef, though, so it makes it pretty likely they're playing more elementals. Gift of Paradise. Gonna go ahead and turn one of their lands into a multicolored monstrosity. And an Overgrowth Elemental comboing out with that Risen Reef. Putting a counter onto it and drawing them a card. So, I can Voracious Hydra as a 3-4 and kill the Overgrowth Elemental or the Risen Reef. If I kill the Risen Reef, Overgrowth Elemental becomes a 4-3. If I kill the Overgrowth Elemental, then they still have a Risen Reef out to keep drawing cards. Both of those aren't fantastic. I think I'm going to kill the Overgrowth Elemental. That's probably... Like, I definitely see the argument for killing Risen Reef just to stop them from drawing cards. But I think I'd prefer to be able to just get really aggressive on attacks here. Which I can't really do if they have a 4-3 Overgrown Elemental instead of a Risen Reef, because then they just trade with the Ceratops, and that's just... it's pretty bad. Alright. Down to 13, we'll see what they have here. Hopefully no more elementals. They do have another, it's a Healer of the Glade here. And another Overgrowth Elemental. They just got the deck. Getting a land off of the top. And a Woodland Champion from our opponent. Alright, Wolf Rider's Saddle is the draw. That's actually pretty good right now if we had the mana to equip that to something. Because they just have a lot of small creatures. Definitely think with the way that turn played out, I should have killed that Risen Reef, but it's kind of banking on them not having been able to get like a whole bunch of elementals, but they did just immediately follow up with another Overgrowth Elemental. Just the ultimate feel bad. Yeah, I guess we just play the Wolf Rider Saddle here. I attack with Ceratops. I get to kill 2 creatures at the very least. Yeah, that actually seems okay right now. They probably block with Healer of the Glade and Woodland Champion. We get to get those out of the way, then the Overgrowth Elemental becomes a 4-3. That's definitely fine. I want to get this board cleared. Just Healer of the Glade blocking, so they're going to make the Overgrowth Elemental bigger. Go ahead and get Trample then, I guess. They have a 1-mana pump? Oh, they do! Might of the Masses. That's just brutal. Alright. There's Fire Elemental drawing another card off that Risen Reef. It is a land, though. Overcome. They just have way too many creatures for that to do anything right now. Guess we just start dropping down Lavakin Brawlers and hope that they don't keep drawing cards, which is pretty unlikely, because if they draw any elemental, it just turns into more cards. At least they don't really have good attacks for a while. Oh my god, reduced to ashes? Yeah, we're just getting rid of that Risen Reef right now. We should have gotten rid of that earlier. I think that was definitely a mistake. But getting rid of it now makes it so they are just top decking like any normal person, just like us. And now we're just hoping to keep spamming out some creatures until our board is big enough to overcome what they have out. So no attacks right now. They have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They have 12 toughness. We have 5. Never mind. They have 12 toughness. We have 6, 12. That's 12 right now. These are both going to attack for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so bam. These negate each other. Then we do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 plus 5. 14. Not quite enough. We did draw Shared Summons, which is just a fantastic draw. So, they don't have a counterspell. We get to pick up whatever creatures we need to make sure this is very, very lethal. Here's a Thrashing Brontodon. Going to go ahead and kill our Wolf Rider Saddle. Not the worst. I honestly think that I was just using that for the +1 at this point. Probably wasn't going to move it around, so I think I would rather just lose that +1/+1 and get rid of their 3/4. That worked fine for me, so let's hope they don't have a counterspell. Looks like they don't. We get to pick up Wake Root Elemental. And Scampering Scorcher adds up to a lot of damage. Actually, you know what? Let's be a cheeky dude. We're going to pick up Goblin Smuggler and Scampering Scorcher, because that's hilarious. That's just actually hilarious. So now we get to play Goblin Smuggler. We get to give one of our Lavakin Brawlers unblockable every turn. We don't even have to overcome anymore. We can just cheese this game out with a really big Lavakin Brawler that's unblockable. Yeah, next turn that's going to be even bigger because we're going to have 3 more elementals. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Goblin Smuggler plus Lavakin Brawler is definitely going to be winning this game. Alright, and at this point, it's very likely that we have a lethal overcome, but this is just cooler, right? That's gotta be just cooler. Look at this. 8/4, unblockable. And there we go, the combo is way too heavy. And we get to just search for both parts of the combo with our Search for 2 Creatures card. That's pretty nice. That is not something I expected to happen, but it's very cool. Well, we are about halfway through the draft if I keep winning, so we are at 3 wins and 1 loss. Let's go ahead and take a short break here and open up one of our prize packs from our daily quests. So we've got, let's see, a bunch of whatever cards. And Golos, Tireless Pilgrim, big fan of this card. It's probably going to be pretty cool in Brawl once they add that. Huge fan of this card because I love ramp decks, and he's pretty neat in Field of the Dead based decks in Standard. So Field of the Dead is the land that, when you have 7 or more lands with different names, just creates a 2/2 zombie whenever you play a land. Golos, since he can search for any land when he enters the battlefield, can search for a Field of the Dead and let you start getting zombies when you're ramping out. So, a very nice card. Alright. Here we go, round something. Round 5, I think. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. We definitely need to draw at least a land. It is a bit of a slow hand, but we are on the play. It has a lot of very good late game potential. And we really only need to draw 1 land to be able to put some decent pressure on early in the game. And if we draw 2 lands, we can cast absolutely everything in the hand. So let's hope that that happens. Looks like our opponent did not start with a 1 mana 1 drop. It's like a 1 mana 1/1 dude or something like that, so that's good. Raging Goblin would actually be pretty spooky against this hand. That's just a 1 mana 1/1 haste. Alright, I'm starting to get a little worried. We haven't drawn a land yet. We need to draw a land next turn now. Do not have any more time to wait. Alright. Super scary, but we got there just in time. I think I'll go ahead and start off with a Thicket Crasher. 4/3 Trample. I can hopefully get right over that Diamond Knight. Alright, opponent starts with a Wolf Rider's Saddle. Unfortunately, that has 3 power, so we're definitely not attacking with Thicket Crasher now. I can play a Hydra just as a 2/3 and kill that Diamond Knight here. Could be worth it. That'll just make sure the Diamond Knight doesn't become a giant threat later. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. It does feel a little sad to be using a card that could potentially be so big later in the game, but that's part of the power in the Hydra, just the fact that you can play it early if you're in a situation where you have to do something like that. And I feel like it is just pretty powerful to get rid of that Diamond Knight before it becomes anything scarier than what it was. Rabid Bite will kill our Thicket Crasher, unfortunately. So we are going to be taking 3 from the 3/3. Alright, we've got our 5 mana. We can instant speed Shared Summons at the end of their turn. Or I can just play my own Wolf Rider Saddle and just try to trade wolves. Or I can pull some Marasa, bring back my Voracious Hydra. I think I'm going to go ahead and pass here. Probably just Shared Summons. Alright, opponent is at 6 mana. I'm not going to pull some Marasa the Hydra just yet. I think that's definitely a late game plan here, though. For now, I'm just going to take that 3 and pick up some more creatures. Alright, so we are going to pick up... Just pick up our scariest creatures. We'll pick up a Wakeroot Elemental and a Shifting Ceratops. Let's see if we draw land. No land, so it will be Shifting Ceratops first. They are black-green, so it is likely they just have removal for this immediately. That's probably okay, though. At least just bait out removal. I'm not going to give it haste. I think I'd rather just get rid of that 3/3. I'm starting to get a little low on life. We'll attack with the Hydra. Because even if they just murder Ceratops immediately, I still think I'm probably not just chump blocking with Hydra. And they do murder Ceratops immediately. A sad day. But we have a lot more cards than our opponent, at the very least. They have 2 cards left in their hand. We have 6. So hopefully we can win this game just through straight-up old-school card advantage. Just by the fact that, yes, they did come out swinging and put us to a pretty low life total, definitely compared to theirs. But we've got a bunch more cards to keep playing here. So I'm going to go ahead and block that 3/3 with a 0/1, since we can only block that with 1 creature. Alright, slamming the +1/+1 onto the Sanitarium skeleton. And now I can just play the Lavakin Brawler. And they can't really keep attacking me with the 3/3, because now I've got a 2/4 to block stuff. Now we just start drawing some cards. This is probably Blade Brand. But I do have another Lavakin Brawler, so let's just get their removal out of the way. So by the time I play Wakeroot Elemental, it's definitely going to survive. So it's a growth cycle and not a Blade Brand. Another situation I'm very happy with it not being Blade Brand, because it means that they get to draw less cards. So I do have Reduced to Ashes now, which is nice. I can just kill that wolf, Or I can exile that Sanitarium skeleton and just make sure they don't get to get any kind of sacrifice combos going on with it later, but we haven't seen any synergies with the skeleton. They might just have it as a really good blocker. So I will just reduce that wolf so I can start getting in my damage. On the crackback. So here comes Audacious Thief. That will draw them at least one card, but we'll hopefully play something big enough to block and kill that before they attack with that. Alright, Thunderkin Awakener, and there's Scampering Scorcher. We have the combo assembled. Just don't have the mana to play both of them immediately. Yeah, we really need to play something that can block that Thief, so I'm just going to play my 3/3. I cannot let them draw more than one card with that guy. We have to keep our card advantage. So, attack with the Thief, obviously blocking here. Definitely hoping they didn't just immediately draw a pump spell. It looks like they did not. Here comes Brightwood Tracker. That is a major problem. So that they can spend 6 mana, tap it, look at the top 4 cards of the library, reveal a creature, put it into their hand. So they get to start just sifting their library for good cards. So we need to kill that pretty quickly. What do I have in my graveyard right now? I have a 2/4 elemental. Definitely not something I can bring back with Thunderkin Awakener right now. So don't have 5 green yet, so Wake-Root Elemental isn't that scary. I think they're going to draw some cards off the Brightwood Tracker. Like, even if we bring Hydra back, we only have enough to make it 4 power. We need to make it 5 power to kill something. I guess I could Pulse of Marasa on the Hydra and really hope to draw land. So then we just play Thunderkin and pass. This is probably like the worst play I could possibly make here because it's so reliant on me drawing another land, but I feel like I got another land coming up at this point. I have 20 cards left in my deck, and I've drawn 6 lands. I have 11 lands left in these 20 cards, so I have higher than a 50% chance at this point. Come on, top deck. Come on, top deck. This also could tempt them to just attack with the tracker, which I'm very happy with them just attacking with that. I would much rather just sack a 2/2 and get them to not draw any cards right now, because I'm much more scared of whatever they could have in the future than what they currently have. So we're going to pick up the Voracious Hydra again and hope to draw land. Woo! Never didn't have it. Alright, we got the land. Get out there. Bam! 5 counters. Fight your tracker. And that, unless they draw another pretty good card, should basically call it. We also only need 1 more forest for Wake-Root Elemental to just kill them. Alright, 4/6 Mammoth Spider and a 1/2 Sanitarium Skeleton. Alright, they are not attacking. It looked like they were going to attack, but they decided not to. And now we have our 5 forests for our Wake Roots. I mean, yeah, this is probably over. Ooh, overcome? This is definitely over. I don't think it's quite over yet. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus 4, 17. Oh yeah, that's definitely not lethal yet. We'll pick a mountain here. Bam. And Wolf Rider Saddle, the Hydra. Which does have trample, so even if they just block with Sanitarium Skeleton, I get some damage in there. Looks like they choose to block with Mammoth Spider. They might have a pump spell here? Oh no, Feral Invocation. At least it didn't kill the Hydra. That would have been very bad. I was really scared that it would have. Looks like it does not. 5, 6, 7, 8. So not quite enough mana to play Lavakin Brawler and Overcome. But we're getting really close to lethal here. Oh wait, that's just a 6-8 permanently. Alright. I think we just wait one more turn, and now this Overcome should definitely be lethal. Anvil Rot Raptor, they have 8, 9, 10, 11 toughness. We have 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 19, plus 5, 24 power. Still not lethal. 24 minus 11 is 13. They'll go to 3 life, which is still not lethal. Got it. Yeah, and whatever elemental we pick won't actually... Okay, well this is definitely lethal. Now we have the Scorching Scamperer, so we can... We're Scampering Scorcher, so we can play that and Overcome. And that's super duper lethal. There. Yeah, and now we just get to return... Actually, I don't think we get to return anything. Wait, no, we did have one of our 4/3 elementals in the grave, but we didn't quite get to where we could return a 2/4. He only had 4 toughness. So yeah, that was a pretty explosive end there. That's 4 wins and 1 loss. The deck's definitely working out lately. Lots of close games as well. Opponents are definitely having some pretty scary plays before we get things turned around in our favor these past few games. Alright. I like this deck a lot. Our last deck definitely didn't have any bombs, and we managed to get multiple this time. We've got the very good Hydra, we have the Elemental guy, the Wake Root Elemental, and we have the Ceratops. And we have the 5-mana instant that lets us search for 2 of our creatures. And we also have this as a rare as well, but this isn't much of a bomb. It's just cute, because the potential that we could do with it is cool. But every single game so far, it has literally just been a 2-mana 1/2 haste. Which is not particularly good. But it's still cool. Alright, oh my god, we drew the Scorcher. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the combo. If our Thunderkin Awakener can survive to the point where we have cast our Scorcher and our Scorcher has died. Alright, there's Sage's Rogue Denizen. I'm actually going to play Lavakin Brawler first, and then the Scorcher. Because then it can come out of nowhere, and the Brawler can swing for a lot of damage. Because if I play the Scorcher first, I'm just not attacking. Like, I guess I attack with literally just the Scorcher and really hope that they block, so I can bring it back with Awakener. That would be super cute. Doubt that's going to happen, though. And we do have shared summons for the late game here. So next turn, we're going to have an explosive turn with the Scorcher. Then after that, we're just going to try to shared summons into something. However, they could be on a very controlling deck. They've got Sage's Road Denizens here to start milling us. Well, that's not fun at all. You just mill Overcome and Shifting Ceratops, just 2 of our best cards? That's not fun. Why you gotta be that way? Alright. They have 1 white up, so I highly doubt they have a counterspell. Bazam! Let's just get in there. I mean... yeah, just attack with those 2. 7/4 Brawler. And if they block the Scorcher, I get to bring it back. Alright, looks like a hard choice from an opponent here. They were considering double blocking to kill that Brawler, but then they will lose their whole field. But it might be worth it. The Brawler is terrifying. Alright, just blocking the Scorcher. I'm very happy with that play. If they don't deal with my Awakener, that means I get to bring back the Scorcher, get 2 more elementals out here. Alright, tapping down Lavakin Brawler with a Frost Lynx, it seems. They've milled my Reduced to Ashes with their Sage's Row Denizens. 22 cards left in my deck. They mill 4 whenever they play a creature. I have to pass this turn and go for a really big turn next turn. Winged Words to draw a couple cards. Definitely happy that wasn't just another creature to mill me more. I'm getting pretty scared about the mill. They've got 3 mana left. They seem like a pretty controlling deck, so I definitely hope they have a counter. I definitely hope they don't have a counter for this. Looks like they don't. So here comes Voracious Hydra and Wake Root Elemental. Just pick up our biggest bombs here. And let's go for a big old turn here. Let's make a 5/6 Voracious Hydra. Kill one of those Sage's Row Denizens to get milled less. And now we're going to have a massive attack. Oh, I did that in the wrong order. I was supposed to get the elementals out before the Lavakin Brawler gets pumped. They are double blocking the Lavakin Brawler, though, which makes sense. So it wouldn't have mattered either way. But I definitely should have ordered those the right way for the most amount of damage. Alright. Opponent is at 5 against a lot of stuff. We'll see if they have a planar cleansing or something. But if they don't have that... Oh no! This is the same card that just destroyed my soul and ruined my day before. Huh. I don't actually think this is lethal, but I want to see. Because I just bring it back again? Alright, so they block there, take 1, 2, 3, plus 6. Alright, so they just go back up to 3. But my Overgrown Elemental gets bigger, and I have more Elementals out. So yeah, that was still a lot better than not attacking. Sage's Row Denizen again. And Boreal Elemental. Alright, so 3 blockers. Down to 16 cards in my library. They're just attacking with Sephara, immediately going up to 10. So they're at 10 life with 2 blockers. They go block, block, take 8. Man. I guess they take 9, actually. Yeah, this is close enough. We just go all out again. They take 9 since the Scampering Scorcher comes out attacking. They definitely kill the Elemental. Take 1, 2, 3, plus 6. Yeah, take 9. Alright, they're at 1, and now we have Wake Root Elemental to make things 5/5s. So we can pretend we have another 5/5 on this field. So if they block all 3, we pretend they're at 8 life. They're at 8 life and they have 3 blocks. 8 life, block, 5/5, a 5/5, and a 2/3. And take 8. Oh, but they played another creature. They played another 2 creatures, actually. Oh my god. This is gonna be really close. Alright. 8 life, 4 blockers. Then... Ooh, give stuff trample. Oh boy, alright. 8 life, 4 blockers. Block a 5/5, block a 5/5, block a 2/3, block a 1/1, go to 1. God. I'm gonna untap one of my forests. So I can now give my elementals trample. Go for the big swing. Again. Now we can pick up Overgrowth Elemental. And it's attacking. And we can put another counter on the Awakener guy, I guess. Or just put it on Wake Root. I guess I actually just spread out the damage as much as possible, put it on a 1/1. Alright, block an Overgrowth Elemental. Blocking the Awakener, finally. Blocking Wake Root. Blocking that. So Wake Root will still be alive. And they're taking 2 trample? Oh, they have a pump spell. Ah, Jesus. Well, that pump spell was super clutch. Oh, that might have just saved them here. God, I despise this card now. I actually hate this card. I've literally always died the second that showed up in a game that it looked like it was impossible to lose. Oh, no. Alright. Well. That was sad. Let's play again. Oh, and of course the the image that they have for Rank Draft is literally that angel. Ah. God dang it, Sephara. Why you gotta be this way? Why do you have to exist? Alright. Going into round 50 Jillian, we have some puppies, and so we shall keep. Alright. We also have a shared summons, again, to get our gigantic creatures for the late game. Chandra's Spitfire is going to start the game. 1/3 flyer that gets +2 power. Oh, +3 power whenever an opponent is dealt non-combat damage. 4 mana, here comes Chandra's Outrage. That's kind of the combo. Oh no!
Be afraid, wizard.
Oh no.
I sounded tough.
Okay, they are just going to do 2 to the wolf. So the combo with Chandra Novice Pyromancers, they can just do 2 non-combat damage to me with her -2, and then just get in there for like 3, 4, 5 total damage, which is terrifying. They can also literally just use her plus to give their elementals +2. That's also some solid damage. See what they got here. Reduce to ashes my Lavakin Brawler. That is no fun. Here comes +2 to Chandra's Spitfire, I'm guessing. Yep, 3 damage down to 16. I could just respond in kind and reduce to ashes their Spitfire now. I do really like just shared summoning though, so I'm probably just going to do that. Shared summons, pick up my Hydra, pick up my Wake Root. Play the Hydra, Hydra will fight with Spitfire and kill it. And then turn after that, play the Wake Root. I'm actually probably not going to play Wake Root for a while yet again, like usually happens. I usually play the Hydra immediately and then start playing other stuff for a bit. It's definitely interesting. Alright, we're taking another 3 down to 13. And a 1-3 Flying Vigilance Griffin Sentinel for our opponent. As well as a 2-1 that can get flying till end of turn. Alright. We're gonna grab our Hydra. I actually think I just want the Shifting Ceratops more than the Wake Root Elemental right now, because I can give that reach. And I'm getting pretty low on life, so that's probably pretty important this game. So we're gonna fight the Spitfire and just get that out of here right now. Pass the turn.
Elemental, dear. What's her name?
Alright, we're taking 3 in the air, down to 10. What do you got? A fencing ace. Alright. That's a little bit scary, but we've got a giant blocker on the ground, so unless they have a lot of pump, that should be fine. Alright. Play our Ceratops, ready to give it reach and block some stuff. I think that is the play. Now we pass. We could also have just reduced the Sentinel right now, and that makes sure they have 0 flying. Because the Bird Grabber can only get flying if they have another creature with flying. So, we will definitely do that next turn if they kill our Ceratops with something, though. So, if they don't have anything in their hand, the smartest play might be to pump up the Bird Grabber with flying and just send in the 2-1, because then if I block with my Reach Ceratops, they get to kill my Ceratops with Chandra's -2. Whereas the Griffin Sentinel is not the safest attack, because if they send that in, I can just eat it with Ceratops. They won't have enough extra damage to kill it. Pretty worried with what's going on here. Alright, Glaring Aegis might just die now. They tap down the Ceratops, so I don't get to block this turn. And the Sentinel now has 6 toughness, so I cannot quite reduce it to ashes. Which is really bad. Plus, now if I block it with the Ceratops, it has 2 power, so it will kill the Ceratops in conjunction with Chandra's -2. So, reduced to ashes ended up being the far better play last turn. We are now on an insanely fast clock from our opponent. We're pretty likely to just die. So, I wish this thing could get Vigilance. Alright. So I guess we send in the Hydra, because we're just hoping they block with Griffin Sentinel. They're probably just going to chump with Fencing Ace, we'll see. They're definitely thinking here. No blocks at all. Well, that could be good. So we can block Griffin Sentinel.
One day,
If they don't have Chandra on the field, we can block with Shifting Ceratops for sure. So I guess now let's save multiple green, just in case we want to give him some random ability. Do it like this. Kill the bird grabber. Because we can't kill Griffin Sentinel. We have to kill some flying here. Alright. Definitely hoping they don't have anything insane here. There's a lot of stuff they could have to just kill us on the spot. Absolutely hoping that they don't have something that kills us on the spot, but we will see. We are going to get Reach. Block the Flyer, block the Fencing Ace. What do you have? Nothing for now. Right? You have a Herald of the Sun. 4/4 Flyer puts counters onto their other creatures with flying. Tremendously bad. See what we draw? Wolf Rider's Saddle. Not really going to get us there. We needed something to deal with flyers immediately. We are now pretty much dead. We're not quite dead on board, because they don't have enough mana to use Herald's ability twice. If they did, they could just kill us no matter what. Why are you so insistent on tapping the forests, game? Alright, we're going to play Ferocious Pup. And Lavakin Brawler, I guess. Don't really have great attacks. Or blocks, for that matter, but let's see. Things are not looking up for the Gomlet X gang. Herald of the Sun and Griffin Sentinel coming in there. We will get Reach. And try to kill Herald of the Sun. If they have any kind of pump spell to save this, we're just dead anyway, because they could pump spell the Griffin Sentinel for lethal damage. And they do have the pump spell for lethal damage. So that is game, I believe. That will end this ranked draft with the exact same record as our last deck. I feel like this deck was a lot better than our last deck, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. That's how the cookie crumbles. Sometimes you draft a better deck, but also play against better decks. And just have the exact same record. So, let's see if we get a booster pack. We do get one booster pack. Let's go ahead and open that. See the victory spoils for today's video. What do we got? Alright, uncommon wild card. I will absolutely take that, as well as Pattern Marcher is a very interesting card that I like. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a card with the same name as another creature you control. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. This is obviously really cute with stuff that says, like, whenever you play a card with the same name as this, do something like Fairy Miscreant or something like that. So Pattern Marcher is pretty cool. And our rare is... I don't appreciate this. This has to be some kind of joke. All right, Wizards, never again. Don't show me that. I'm getting out of here. Goodbye.